Well, hello, welcome back. My name is Metro. Once again, we're taking a look at another challenge mode gold from the Blood Death Knight point of view. Alright, and this one is pretty interesting out of the gate. Alright, this is Skyreach, heroic or gold Skyreach challenge mode, obviously. And what you're gonna see us do here, this is honestly, this is probably the most important part of the dungeon. I can't see, I don't know if I would even do this dungeon without a hunter or somebody who can execute this. If you're not familiar with what we're doing, basically you can get to that side of the dungeon. It's just ridiculous, first of all. It's definitely the strangest thing I've ever done in a challenge mode. But anyway, you can start on that side. So there you see the hunter uses disengage. I think you need the glyph. I'm not sure. Either way, it's very doable as a hunter. There's probably a guide on how to do it exactly out there, so maybe look it up, but I don't know what other classes can do it. Now, once the hunter's over here, druid could leap to him, priest could self-grip to him, and then take the glyph off and grip people up here. You could use the swap blaster, which is what I'm doing, to swap with the hunter, and then the hunter's back on the other side, and then he jumps over again. I think that's probably the best one. Like everybody can buy the swap blaster. Like it's an item that everyone can buy, and I bought it for like 700 gold. You know what I mean? It's worth it for this one. But rogue could shadow step up, etc. Yeah. So you gotta. I think you gotta do this. Honestly, I've seen a group do this where they like pull the whole. They basically start on the other side and run all the way to where we are now, and pull it all as one giant pack and use everything, and then they invis the last bit. But it's like, yeah, you know what I mean? If I could avoid that, I'm gonna do that. So I guess it kind of requires a hunter. But anyway, what we're gonna do out of the gate here, make sure you pre-pod this first pull. You'll want speed boost, which we don't get because our druid's still acclimating himself to challenge modes. He's new. He hasn't played in quite some time. So anyway, yeah, you'll want speed boost. You're gonna pull that pack with the boss. All right, do not lust on this pack. Don't pop any major CDs. The trash in this dungeon is much harder than the bosses, except for the second one, I guess. But yeah, you're just gonna try to burn. If I was you as the tank, I would try to focus my my damage on the ads. The damage on the ads is gonna be like the damage the ads do to you. It's going to be far more than the boss, especially right out of the gate. You see me cycle through pretty much everything. All I have up is still Vamp Blood, and yeah. So the wins on this fight are going to complicate things pretty heavily, especially, you know, if you got melee. But you'll see right there, like that's just a taste of things to come. I got to like move up and around and then wait here and then move back again. It's a pain in the ass, honestly. This dungeon, I'm going to go ahead and rate this right now. This is my least favorite dungeon. I'm making this video now early out of the series because I just hated it. It took me forever to finally get done, and you'll see why later. But yeah, this boss itself is not challenging, but the random mechanics are just not fun in challenge mode. You know what I mean? I've always hated that. I always felt like that has no place in a challenge mode. Like, yeah. So look at this. Watch this fucking garbage that we have to deal with right now. Look at it. There's literally nowhere to go. Gotta go up, and then there's another one to the right. It's like luckily our rogue is like really skilled. I don't know how he survives, but that's just you literally can't dodge it. It's not possible. There's 3 things in the path that you have to cross. So I mean, if we had to reset there, I probably would have just stopped. Like, I would have just deleted this character and never done challenge mode again. But we're all super low, so this one's pretty tough as a healing. Yeah, I'd say this boss coming up, the second one, has the hardest healing requirement of any boss in any challenge mode, unfortunately. So we're going to solo pull the bird. I've done this before successfully, albeit with the bird being part of the pack that we pull up there. And there's literally no reason we couldn't have done it with this group. This group was actually really good. It wasn't a true pug. Kaiken the rogue, he's in our guild, and Elto, a longtime player in our guild, he's playing the mage. But druid is a friend of Kaiken's who I've not really played with much before, and the hunter was a complete pug, somebody we found on the raid group finder thing. So I would say our portion, like the 3 of us, kind of carry. I mean, I feel like I hate to say it, but even after the Death Knight nerfs, like look at the DPS I do in this pack coming up. Even after 33% Blood Boil nerf, I'm still like almost top damage in the group. You know what I mean? Which is just like, what the fuck. But anyway, so you got to make sure you kill the guys who do the what's it called? Come on, I can't believe I can't remember this. The Cyclone, right? I think they're called the Gull Shapers or something like that. I don't know. They do a Cyclone. You got to stop them the first time. You have to stun after that. I would definitely recommend stunning instead of gripping as Death Knight in this dungeon. There's just a lot better chances to survive with the stun, and the grip doesn't really do anything. AoE, you know, Gorfine's Grass is what I'm talking about. We kill that pack so fast. That's literally, I've done this so many times and I've never killed that pack that fast. It's just unreal. We just had such good burst DPS there. So we didn't even have that bird. The bird I gripped there, you'll definitely want to get before, you know, doing with that pack. And then the second boss, here we go. This is where you want to lust, all right? You need to tank him over here, all right? And I'll explain why. You see the two robots to my left and right? Those are mine. And otherwise, I should never have to do anything on the fight. And this ensures that all DPS can kind of just stay by the boss and they'll always be able to block, right? So when you keep them in the middle, which I originally thought was the better plan, there's just too much organization that's needed, you know? You need to say, well, the mage is going to be over there and the hunter is going to be, etc. So just tank them over here in between these two sets of golems. Now you see that one's there. I'm going to do this one. Unfortunately, if this times up with smash, you're fucked because you can't afford to let him heal, right? Like you can't move out of the smash. You have to eat it. So as a Blood Death Knight, this is like, I mean, I'm built for this. Literally, I have like 3 ways to survive this types of damage. So AMS, and then, you know, my active mitigations, and then heal up, etc. But yeah, you're gonna have to do one eventually. Probably as a tank. Make sure you lust here. You'll see our damage is actually really nice for this. You need to kill him. So that's the 3rd burst. The 4th burst is just, no, it's bad. And I did this in one group and we almost had a 5th burst. So yeah, if you can get him done before the 4th burst, you really should. That should be pretty attainable with Bloodlust and a solid group. You see my single target was really poor there. But that's just kind of Death Knight. I can't do much about that. I was trying to avoid more than anything. Now here we go. I make a major misplay here. Watch this misplay, right? So I'm going to drop everything, get some DPS going, and I'm like, man, I'm dying. I'm getting hit pretty hard. Why am I fucking dying? Oh yeah, I didn't use fucking army. So honestly, should I even have used army? I don't know. Or maybe I did that time, but the one time I didn't. And I'm thinking about not doing army here. Obviously other tanks don't have army, so there's no reason that I can't survive it. But yeah, anyway, that's a big AoE pull. You want to make sure you have as much AoE for that pull as possible. I would recommend stunning. You know, use a big CD as a tank and then stun them so they don't chase everyone when they do that. Now this guy is going to excite these birds. The more he does it, the harder they're going to hit, but they're easily kiteable afterwards. So try to stun them if you can. You see the sap or whatever that was blind there. So yeah, I mean, it's not really that serious. This pack does a lot of damage as well. It's actually pretty deceiving. You think the pack with like the 11 birds that you pull is going to be the hard one, but this one is actually just as... These birds hit pretty hard. We kite them all over the fucking map. You don't want to do this, all right? Just, like I said, the people in our group are not very skilled in challenge modes. This is the complete opposite of what you want to do, all right? Keep them all together, and if it's too heavy, then you just move a little bit, all right? But yeah, like this is taking way too long, and we still absolutely annihilate this dungeon. So the boss itself, now this is a conflicting strategy here. Every other time I've done this, people just ignore the bird that spawns, okay? And I've never actually completed it on Cold doing that, but I don't really think we wiped because of that. So like, you know, they would do it like that in Heroic. I feel like, I guess if you're gonna lust on the second boss, then you probably, I don't know. I don't know exactly what you need to do to be able to facilitate not killing that bird, but with a rogue, we were able to stun it every single time. And even with any group, you should be able to stun it. Like, I can stun every other one, basically. So as soon as it spawns, you just stun it, and it dies. Look at that. It's got like 6 seconds on that stun. You know what I mean? It's still dead. So if you can do that, then you probably should, because, I don't know, I'd hate to wipe on this boss because of that. You know what I mean? And honestly, it's just a risk that doesn't need to be taken. Like, the boss is already complicated enough. And you see there, I have no speed boost, so the rogue gets the pierce armor, and then I'm all confused. Like, I don't know when the pierce armor is happening, and yeah, it's a mess. But yeah, this fight is this is probably the easiest fight in here. I mean, it is no, I guess the last one is even easier, but yeah, the pierce armor, obviously you need to use an active mitigation. Hopefully you know that from heroic. Any active mitigation will work, so I use, blood tap, or if I have an absorb shield up, every class has 2, right? So, for monk, guard, or the dodge thing will work. For warriors, either barrier or shield block will work. Paladins, I guess you only have 1 technically. So shield of the righteous, and then bears, savage defense, and whatever the other one is, the damage reduction one. But yeah, so there you go. It's a pretty easy fight if you do it correctly, I'd say. I don't know. Like I said, maybe it's better to just ignore the bird. Especially if you're strapped on time, maybe you can gain some seconds. But there was only like 4 birds anyway. So I don't know. I feel like that's too many, honestly. Like, how are you going to kite that many birds? They're just going to, I don't know. But yeah. Now up here, this hunter is, like I said, true pug. He's not helping us out at all. You want as many speed boosts as humanly possible. We got roar out of the gate, but the fact that the dude doesn't have pack on aspect of the pack is like, what? How? Why are we playing with this dude? You know what I mean? But anyway, this is a pretty common glitch, as you'll see in this video. I don't know why this happens, but it makes it a little bit harder because you can't actually see exactly where the things are. But if you've done it enough, you know that you know basically what you're doing. Hunters, warlocks, warriors can kind of bypass this whole thing. Another thing this guy just doesn't do. If you just turn your back at the gate and disengage, you'll go right to the end. But yeah, now from here on out, these robots are going to be a huge fucking deal. All right. This is the first pack that we would have fought with this robot, and it empowers one of the other things. So basically, if it empowers the chakra master, I'm just standing in this storm. You see that, man? Fuck lightning, dude. I'm a conductor. I can't believe you see how bad am I? You know what I mean? This is so poor, and we still absolutely crushed this dude. That's the power of Blood Death Knight. Now we're looking for the bird. The bird itself is a pat. It's a patrol. It goes all around, and there he is. There. You cannot do anything until you get this guy out, because he is just gonna flip you all around, and you could actually get knocked off really easy in this area. It's the same bird from after the first boss. Just kind of tank him with his back to the walls in here, and just kind of get flipped over, which I do not do properly. Yeah, no. Here you go. I'll show you how to do this correctly. What a mess this one is. You know what I mean? This is just testament to how much I hate this dungeon. Just so much garbage, and the trash is so much harder than the bosses, you know? And I'm going to show you why in this next pack. So you kill this thing as quickly as possible. It's not, you know, it's nothing to speak about. Just don't get flipped off the edge, and you should be good. Now this next pack, all right, same thing with this. The previous one's got this robot. The robot is going to try to empower the rest of the stuff. Now there's 2 robots, but the small one is the one we're talking about, okay? So you need the pre-pot armor here, definitely. And you probably should pop a huge CD, but the way I handle it is I use small stuff. I use all my small stuff here, and then the big stuff on the next one. So we gotta stun. This robot is just not dying, all right? These guys are not killing this thing. This thing needs to be dead, but every time it tries to empower, it's gonna fuck somebody up. Like, somebody's fucked, you know what I mean? Now, that disorient there is a wipe. If we didn't have a rogue, the rogue gets turned on, and after we attack him, he invasions. That would have been a wipe. We would have literally had to reset because of that. That thing is a pain in the ass. What you're meant to do is you're meant to turn your back to the mob that does it. But honestly, I'm not good enough. Like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what mob even does it. I don't know how I would turn my back to the mob without getting killed. Like, I don't know. But apparently that's what the pros do. So if you're, you know, struggling with that and you're getting disoriented and people are dying because of it, then that's the issue. But the other way around that is just 2 fucking stuns. Once again, I've done this group like 8 times, and I just never get a second stun in this group. So if you had 2 stuns, you would just channel them back to back, and everything would be dead pretty much. But yeah, this pack is just the same as any other pack of birds. The Chakra Master is going to do tons of damage. Listen, I can't undersell how much damage these mobs do, alright? It looks like it's not the case, but I have wiped these packs, these 2 packs alone, more times than I've wiped to every other challenge mode, honestly. Like, this is no word to lie. I've wiped to these packs probably 10 plus times. just each individually, you know what I mean? And yeah, they are really, really, really difficult because of how small the space is. Now what we're doing here, I pre-potted on that pull just out of defense, you know, worry. But we have so much time. Look how much time we have left. You know what I mean? I can't believe how we crushed this. And like I said, this is not the best group, but we just dominate it. You're going to invis that guy. He takes way too long to kill, honestly. I've seen people, instead of invis there, they just pull him with the boss. I guess if you got swag and you're like a badass tank and you feel like you could do that, then you might as well. It saves the pot, and then you could use it offensively. Probably dies pretty quick anyway with all pots up, but that's it, man. The boss, this dungeon's over, all right? There's one more thing that I want to tell you about. You see this bird? You see me stun this bird? When you stun this bird in the air, it's no longer, it doesn't pick anyone, which is ridiculous, but it does. So you'll want to make sure you do that. If you have a paladin, they can do it. DK obviously is probably the best. Strangulate, I think, is probably the only real option. I don't think rogues can actually do it because it needs to have some range on it. Now watch this. I say, Hunter, can you put a trap down? Look at this shit. You want to throw a freezing trap. Not that, I don't know what trap is which, but you don't want to throw that trap down. You want to throw the trap that incapacitates the ad. All right, you shouldn't fight this ad. Just CC it. Hunter trap is the best option, really, but it shouldn't. You don't want to fight that thing. There's no point in fighting it. But I guess we're going to fight it anyway. We're going to kill it. There's always going to be... You're probably going to always have to deal with one, I guess, unless you kill it super quick. But this boss literally doesn't do anything else. Just tank him here. If you stun the bird... Yeah. Now watch. I think he's got the right trap down this time. Let's see. Trap-a-Fellow Records. Is it going to have... Yeah, there we go. That man's a man right there. But anyway, the cast down... yeah, I guess I just missed the stun there or something. I don't know, but oh no, it's just chilling. Yeah, so if you stun it in the air, it just attacks you, the tank, instead, and it trivializes that part of the fight. But honestly, even if it picks somebody up, like, who fucking cares? Just kill it, and you know they can stun it. They can even still attack the boss, which is you're gonna see here. We the druid in our group called it hazing, but it was just misplay, really. Watch what happens here. Cast down. I guess I don't bother to... Oh, no, I stunned it late. I guess that's the issue. I stunned it late. So we didn't realize it wasn't working, right? So watch. That's the hunter. That's the guy, right? The mage is just oblivious. He thinks that we got it. It's not working. Like, it's not actually picking him up. So it just drops him off the edge. With like 1% left on the boss. And because he's off the edge and dies, the ads break from the trap. And yeah, anyway, that's that. So hardest parts of this dungeon were the trash, really. You're gonna find this yourself. I can't. You're probably watching this video and you don't understand why I'm making such a big deal about it. But the last two things of trash you do are the hardest trash in the game, honestly. You know, the big pull, the double pull of birds is really tough as well. You're just gonna get absolutely annihilated because it pierces armor, and even the first pack of trash, like with the boss, like it's all tough. It really is. So you need to be on top of your game. You really need a hunter to start on that side of the dungeon, and you need good DPS. So that's gonna be it. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, we'll see you later.